Welcome to e-learning module. Dear student, in the previous lecture I was talking about Saadat Hasan Manto. Saadat Hasan Manto's ancestors were dealing in salt business in Amritsar. And before partition of India, Manto family had 5 residential buildings near Farid Chowk in the old city of Amritsar. Manto's father was Ghulam Hasan Manto. He was a barrister. Some more persons from this Manto clan were barristers by profession. Saadat Hasan Manto was born in Paprodi, Samrala, and there his father was posted as magistrate. After his retirement, the family moved back to their ancestral house in Amritsar. Manto had his schooling in Amritsar itself. He lived there almost for 20 years. Amritsar finds mention in many stories of Manto. Dr. Saifuddin Kichlu, the well-known freedom fighter and the hero of Jallianwala Bagh, was close relative of Manto. In fact, Dr. Kichlu was married to the daughter of Hafizullah Manto, a well-known Kashmiri lawyer from Amritsar, and he was uncle of Saadat Hasan Manto. Dear student, Manto was called James Dean of India's literary circles. Saadat Hasan Manto was a man whose short stories left a huge impact on the 20th century literature of South Asia, not only in India or Pakistan but in the literature of South Asia. He was tried 6 times in the court of Pakistan for obscenity, though he was never convicted. Manto's storytelling began in Bombay, present-day Mumbai, and ended in Lahore. The iconic writer did not get his due after migrating to Pakistan. He is best known for his wary and sharp take on the social taboos. He did not hesitate to call a spade a spade. The social taboos which were prevalent in the Indian society at that time are very much found in his stories, and these are laden with satire that are a product of his cynicism. It is interesting to note that while in Bombay, Manto worked in film magazine and was also writing scripts and dialogues for Hindi films, including, you may know perhaps, Kisan Kanhaiya, which was released in the year 1937, and Apni Nagariya, which was released in the year 1939. Manto is a legendary figure, and to some extent we can say he is the person or writer about whom very less has been discussed in the subcontinent. Manto wrote about everything and was not afraid to describe the seamy sides of life, which he saw as intertwined with the normal surface respectability on the outside. He was a wonderful writer of women characters, for whom he had a special empathy. In his public life, he tried to uphold the tenet of equality for women. A famous writer or translator, Atish Tasir, is of the view, Atish Tasir, that person who recently came into limelight due to his article regarding our present Prime Minister. According to him, India must now reclaim men like Manto. In Pakistan, Manto's world, crowded with Hindus, Sikhs, and Muslims, would feel very foreign. It is only in India, still plural, still symmetrically Hindu, that it continues to have relevance. His eyes could only have been an Indian eye, sensitive to surprising detail, compulsively aware of Indian plurality, sympathetic to people trapped in their own circumstances. Here, pointing to a particular Hindu festival, they are imitating Bombay street dialect. Many have considered it a tragedy that Manto went to Pakistan after partition from India. His wife Safia explains the perplexity at the time that led to his decision. In the biographical notes, the real tragedy was that he went to a country that did not appreciate his gifts, that tormented him with obscenity charges. On one occasion, dear students, I am mentioning what was the on one occasion, the use of the word breast was cited as obscene. He used the word breasts, and that was considered by some fundamentalists as an obscene thing. Magazine publishers in Lahore routinely paid him on the cheap with bootlegged legal. For decades, he was a persona non grata. Persona non grata. An unnecessary person, a person who is not wanted at all. in some state or country. Until on the centenary of his birth, the government of Pakistan decided it was a time to bestow an honor, the Nishani-i-Imtiyaz medal. Manto raised the issue of which side will own what part of the language and culture of North India. Will Pakistan's literature be separated from that of India's? It was the opinion of Manto. Will Pakistan's literature be separated from that of India's? If so, how? Who owns all that was written in undivided India? India or Pakistan? Will that be partitioned too? Are India's and Pakistan's core problem not the same? Will Urdu be totally wiped out in India? What shape will it take in Pakistan? Will our state be a religious one? One thing we can assert with confidence, Urdu was never extinguished in India, but perhaps suffered a decline. After the decades, when poet-writers like Sahir Ludhianvi and Shakil Badwani provided lyrics for songs and dialogues for films. Now Mushahiras are once again alive in North, and even women sires like Malka Nasim are being recognized in the country. Thank you, good boys and girls. Enjoy reading. I will upload another video on this subject very soon.